for anyone who is struggling with the CAD homework, this is what we're trying to build. So I'll run through how to get that shape. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so while that's loading, so how I would start, generally I would always start with the front view, just so that because we have a good idea of what needs to be done. In terms of, like, you can start in any view. You can pick which view you want to start in, that's not a problem. Just know that when you annotate it, and you are putting your well, here it's a bracket or a support. When you're putting your support back into this form on your A3 template, then it becomes a little bit of a problem, because this is no longer, for example, if you start here, this no longer becomes your top view, it becomes your front view, and so it messes up a little bit on where you have to place your stuff. So I would generally start here at the front view. They give us enough information to build what we need to build, and they also give us this projection of it, a 3D image of it, so we're able to see and compare to what it should look like. So you obviously also have to refer to the other two drawings to see exactly what your dimensions need to be like. For example, the width when you extrude this image, or the height we get from here. So let's start. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would draw a rectangle, and I would dimension it to the height that we have and to the width which we get from here. So if we do that, that is 20 and 38, so that's 58, and a height of 25. Also, before you begin, when you begin, I would constrain this just so that we have something that is centered around the origin, and that it doesn't cause any problems later on when we have to dimension and stuff like this. So this is 58 and this is 25. Okay, so there we have our entire block cut out. We can extrude this immediately. We know that it is a distance of 55 millimeters from here, so we can extrude that. Symmetrically 55 millimeters, and we get a massive block like that. So at least now we have a starting point of what we would like to work with. Apologies for the whole video like that. Okay, so if we go back to the drawing, we can see that we have a chamfer which is 8 millimeters by 45 degrees, and we have an angle of 30 degrees over here, which is 12, which leaves this height of 12 millimeters. So I would suggest to start with those two, just so that you get any angles away. We prefer working on a flat face. Like, we would prefer not to do these stuff later on. You can do it later on, there's not a problem. I just prefer to get it done immediately. These are like the hardest things to do, basically. So if we go to the front view and we start a new sketch over here, we take a point, because we can't just dimension a line anywhere. So this point, I'm going to constrain it to the vertical here. So now that it's constrained, I'm going to dimension it as a height of 12 from the edge of this line. So now that we have this height, we know that the line is going to run somewhere from here. We don't know exactly where, but somewhere from there, it must pass this line, pass that point. So we can start at that point, and we can just create a line further than that. And if we dimension this line to this, we can dimension it as 30. So there you have that angle created. So the way to extrude this would be to create another line to the edge and back down. Okay, so now you have a triangle here basically. So we can extrude this, and we just press cut through all, and when you do that, there you have that edge created. So if you look at it, it goes right through the entire thing. So now we can do this angle. The way we do this is we don't have to do another drawing. We can just do a chamfer, which is, they said 8 millimeters. And if we do that, then we have our chamfer of 8 millimeters. If we go back to the drawing, the next thing we need to do is we can create this hole over here. So we just need to take another point, dimension it as 18 millimeters above and 15 millimeters away. So we create another sketch on here. We take a point, place it anywhere there, and we can dimension this. This was 15, and from here to here was 18. Perfect. Now that we have the hole, all we have to do is cut the hole, which is 8 millimeters through. So if we do this, we don't have to use the circle feature, we just take the hole feature, and we have 8 millimeters through. I don't think it's isometric, I think it's just that. 8 millimeters, there we go. And there our hole is created. So it goes right through the entire block. We will take out, if we look here, we will take out all of this eventually. We first want to deal with all these, whatever is like basically in your vertical plane. You want to deal with that first. We will get to all of this stuff eventually. Now the next thing we have is this circle, or this arc that is from a radius of 70. So the way we do that is, if we go back here and we create another sketch, we just take another point and place it anywhere, and we will put it in line. We can just put it in line with this. Okay, now that we have it vertically aligned, we can dimension this to the bottom as, if I'm not mistaken, it was 74. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 74. Now that we have that, we can create a circle from this point. And we can dimension it as radius 140 because as diameter 140 because it's radius 70. Now that we have the circle, what we're going to do is we're going to extrude it. So if we extrude this circle, we're not going to add, we're going to cut, but we need to know the distance that we need to cut, and the way we know that is to find this distance over here. So we know that this is 7 millimeters because this distance over here from this edge, which is this edge over here, to that edge is 48 as given by this. So we know that that is 7 millimeters. we also know that this is 8 millimeters, so 7 plus 8 is 15, and if we subtract that from the total of 55, we get that this from this edge to this edge is 40 millimeters. So this distance is 40 millimeters. So if we cut a distance of 40 millimeters, then we should have something looking like that, and that's what we want. Okay, now we need to create this little block over here. We know that it's a distance of 24 from the side, and if we look here, it's also a distance of 24. So this is a square. So the way we do that is we would go to the bottom view, because you can't exactly create or cut or make a sketch from a curved surface. So I think there is a way, but we haven't done it yet, and I'm not exactly sure how to do it. So I would look for the simplest route. This is what CAD is about. It's looking for the simplest thing to get where you want to be. So the easiest way to get this would be to actually go to the bottom view. So if we rotate this to the bottom, so we know that this is the area we want to work with. So let's create a sketch here, and we just create a square, and we just make sure it's in line there. That's correct. So if we dimension this, this is 24, and that is also 24. So now we have that area over there. If we extrude this, we can cut and through all, and now when we look at the top, we have exactly that shape that we're looking for. That's the shape over there. So now we're basically done with the front view. What we can do is we can move to the side view. There's not a lot left for us to do other than this is done. We have just this hole over here, which we can do again from the bottom view. If we rotate the object like this, so actually let's go ahead and do that. This is diameter 12. So if we go to the front view and we rotate to the bottom view, then we know there's a circle or a hole here of diameter 12. Let me just get the dimensions. It is 50 millimeters away from here, and it is 30 millimeters from this edge over here. So before we actually do that, there's a bit of a problem. We need to get this edge over here. So we need to separate all of this so that this is standing alone, and we know it's a height of 10 millimeters, and we know this is a distance of 7 millimeters. How Again, we know that this entire distance is 48, and this entire distance is 55. So 55 minus 48 gives us a distance of 7 millimeters from there. So if we go back here, and let's just rotate to this view, so we can create a sketch over here. Okay, so let's create a sketch over there. Remember, here we taking away our material, so it would best be to just create a rectangle so that we can take all of this away. We know that the height above here, so this distance to that distance is 10, and we know that it is a width of 7. So if we take this distance to that distance, it should be 7. We just want to make sure that also this is aligned with that. Okay, so now we can extrude, and we can cut through all, and if we look at a bit of a top view or top left view, we can see that that is all gone. Now we just want to get rid of that little bit that is there. So if we go to the top view, then we know we want to get rid of a little bit of material that is there. So if we look at the top view, we know that it's a distance of 20. So we'll create a rectangle of a distance of 38, because that's what we want to take away. So if we create a new sketch on this face, we can just do that. Oopsie. Okay, let's just go back for a minute. We create a sketch there, and there we go. It doesn't really matter if your rectangle is away from your sketch, because you're not adding anything, you're taking away. So if there's no material here, then it will just take away nothing basically, so you don't have to worry about that. What you do need to know is that you must make sure that this triangle, this rectangle, I keep calling it a triangle, this rectangle is in line with your origin and the surface over here. So you can, all you have to do is horizontally constrain it to the edge and this point to the origin, like that. So now you know that that's fine. We also need to dimension from this edge to that edge as 20. And so now we have this area here that we want to save. If we just elongate that, that's fine. Then we can take away this area over here. So how we do that is, again, cut through all. Okay, and if we do that, and if we look from this is a rather, there we go. So now we have that piece over there. Now that we have this piece, we have this edge over here, so we're able to create that hole that we want over there. So let's go to the bottom view and let's rotate it out like that. Now we go back here, we can see that the hole is 15 millimeters away from this side, and it is 30 millimeters away from this edge over here. So let's go back here. So if we go back here, we can create a sketch, place a point over here, and we can dimension. So we know that from this point to this side it's 30, and we know from here to this edge is 15. So there we have the center of the circle, or this hole rather, that we needed to create. So now we can just create a hole, and that was 12 millimeters. And so there we have it. That is our entire support created, and that is how you would create your support. There was one about how to get decimal points, so I will show you. I will do that before I do all of this. Let me just show you guys, because I'm not going to actually dimension this. I've already done it, so let me just show you guys what it should look like. If we dimension, let's say we dimension something like this, the chamfer, all you have to do is double click on it and this should pop up. If you don't want this dimension that's over here, you just click on hide value and you can type in whatever you want. So for example, if that's what you want, then you can do that. After that, if you want to take it away, obviously you just do that and you can unhide the dimension. In terms of the decimal points, all you have to do is double click and come to precision and tolerance. Your primary unit you would take to however many decimal points you want. So if you want 1, then you just click 1.1. If you want 2, 2.12, and so on and so on. That's about it that we would actually need now. I don't think there's any more to the dimensioning that we need to know for now. So I hope this video has helped you guys out if you have been struggling. If you are still finding it a bit difficult, then you are most welcome to contact me and I will try and help you as much as I can. when I am free. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so now that we have our support created, we can go ahead and do our drawing. I was never a fan of drawing, but nonetheless, if we save this, so obviously everyone that is watching this, I hope you are from group 4. You will be saving it as your student number, and it would be your homework IPT HW3 IPT. So I already have it saved, so I'm not gonna save this one. However, I will just open, so let's open up a new our template. It is on an A3 template. We get that information from here. We know it's on an A3 template, just in case you guys are wondering that. So if we place a base view, okay, now it's gonna say I must save it. Anyway, where's this? Okay, I'll just use that one. Okay, there we go. They tell us on this information that it's a A3 and a 1:1 ratio. So if we go back here, it's 1:1, and we have it created. Obviously, we want to move it out from here, so we want it there. We want the side view, and we want the top view as well. So that should be done. Okay, so if you zoom in, you see that there are a few hidden details. We will get rid of that in a minute, but before we do that, we need to do our center lines. So if we go here and we dimension, we click on this tool over here, then we can dimension center lines for any hidden circles. So for example, or hidden holes, for example, this over here. So the way you do that is click on there, and you click on there, and this center line would appear. But if we look in the drawing, the center line is there, but the hidden detail of that hole is not. So all we have to do is hide this hidden detail. The way you do that is you right click on it, and you just click on visibility, and it disappears. So make sure you, before you click on visibility, that you create this center line, because if you don't, it's very difficult. You'll have to go all the way back, and then you'd have to create, basically you'd have to go all the way back like this, and then you'd have to create the center line using that two hidden details, and then you'd have to come back all the way to your drawing. Okay, so we have a couple more. There's one here. So it's this one and that one, and now we can just make all of this invisible. We also know that these hidden details over here we don't need, so any hidden details that you do not require, you can just click on the visibility and take it away. If we look at the drawing, we have a center line over here, we have a center line over there, and we have a center line over there. So I think I did make a mistake here. Let me just see. If we take a center line to that, yeah, I have to go back and create the center line for this. There we go. Now we have the center lines for our circles. So there's not much. Oh, there's this hidden detail that we don't want. So it looks basically plain. I think in future lessons we will have to use hidden detail and stuff like that, but for now obviously we don't. I would suggest also, before you begin any dimensioning, it will, because sometimes dimensioning you might make a mistake and then it becomes a whole schlep. I would say just add all of your parts that you need to add before you actually start dimensioning anything. It's fine if it's not in order. Also, I would suggest that all your information that you need to add, you should add now before any dimensioning begins, just so that it becomes easier once it's actually there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add all my details in. You guys, I'm sure you guys know how to do that. If you don't, all you have to do is click on text and you can add, just click where you need to add, and then you can add any information that you want to add and click OK, and it should pop up right there. So I will add all my details. Obviously you guys add your details. Make sure that it corresponds to what is given to us over here. Obviously you put your own date and month and time, I mean a year, and yeah, so just make sure that all that is done. And then once this is done, then you can go ahead and dimension your drawing. I'm sure everyone who is here in class, I'm sure everyone knows how to dimension everything. For some people there are a bit confusion between, there is a bit of confusion, my English is off, there is a bit of confusion between how to get all these dimensions and things like that. For example, there was one about how to get decimal points. So I will show you, I will do that before I do all of this. Let me just show you guys, because I'm not going to actually dimension this. I've already done it. So let me just show you guys what it should look like. If we dimension, let's say we dimension something like this, the chamfer, all you have to do is double click on it and this should pop up. If you don't want this dimension that's over here, you just click on hide value and you can type in whatever you want. So for example, if that's what you want, then you can do that. After that, if you want to take it away, obviously you just do that and you can unhide the dimension. In terms of the decimal points, all you have to do is double click and come to precision and tolerance. Your primary unit you would take to however many decimal points you want. So if you want 1, then you just click 1.1. If you want 2, 2.12, and so on and so on. That's about it that we would actually need now. I don't think there's any more to the dimensioning that we need to know for now. So I hope this video has helped you guys out if you have been struggling. If you are still finding it a bit difficult, then you are most welcome to contact me and I will try and help you as much as I can when I am free.